Could you define what would be today a modern ethical leader?
You mean a person, or you mean what they would be doing?
Yeah, what they would be doing.
I think an ethical, you know, it's hard to pin it down, but an ethical leader is someone who cares about the consequences of their actions. The economists have a very nice term. It's called externalities, which means that if you can't pin it on me, I don't have to care about it. If I can dump my waste in the river and nobody can pin it on me, then I can dump waste in the river. What a horrible term, externalities. These days, with global warming and everything else, there is no such thing anymore as an externality. If I buy a motorboat because I can afford a motorboat, and I buy myself a nice motorboat and go tooling around on the lake water skiing, which I have every right to do, and after all it's my money and I can spend it the way I do, I'm creating externalities. I'm dropping oil in that lake, I'm creating pollution, and so on and so forth. And that has to be recognized as externalities. I'm not saying we should go attack everybody who's got a boat, but I'm just saying we have to recognize that everything we do now has externalities. Every time you drop garbage, I live in a condo, it's wonderful. We package our garbage in a nice neat plastic bag. I walk over, I open the thing, I drop it in, gone. Not my responsibility anymore. Well, I'm creating an externality somewhere that's polluting or burning or whatever it's doing, and I can't just assume that I can do anything I please, and that's an externality. So we've got to get past that.
Well, in a way, ethical business, wouldn't that be an oxymoron?
No, I don't think so, not at all. No, no, it shouldn't be.
Seem to be that way very often.
There's a lot of oxymoronic ethical businesses, yes, there's a lot.
Because listening to you, I thought, can you teach ethics, which is more of a philosophical question than a business question, but can you take a young man or woman going to business school and tell them about ethics? Or do you have to have...
You know, at Harvard, they've introduced this, what do they call it? There's an oath. An oath. Everybody's signing an oath at Harvard, not everybody, but some people are signing an oath at the Harvard Business School. Basically, I promise to be good. And I was thinking Jeff Skilling, ex-Enron, who's now in jail, he went to Harvard Business School. He would have signed that oath in a minute. I mean, what does it cost to sign an oath? Sure, you want me to sign an oath? Yeah, you know, no problem. Look, compare a case study on ethics with what we do in our classroom or in coaching ourselves. A case study issue in a Harvard classroom with young people is you bring in a very ethical issue and everybody debates and everybody decides kind of what the right thing to do is, and everybody's noble and everybody walks out feeling really good. And then does it mean they're going to be good? Well, I don't know. Hopefully it's having some influence, but not much. When we get into ethics in our classroom at the round tables, it's not about some external case that somebody has done somewhere else. It's about Joe who's saying, look, I'm trying to do business in such and such a country, and they're insisting on a bribe, and our policy is not to bribe, and I'm going to get fired if I don't get this business, and what the heck can I do? And somebody else says, you know, I faced that, and this is the way I handled it. And ethics becomes real when you're talking about what you're facing, what you're doing. We have a topic in coaching ourselves called opening up the moral senses. It's about moral deafness, moral blindness, moral dumbness. It's by Fred Bird, used to be here in Montreal. And it's about how people can close their eyes, close their ears, and so on, to ethical issues. Well, you can't do it when you're in a situation where you're facing it and you're using, we call it friendly consulting. We have an advanced leadership program where companies come with teams and they work on each other's issues, about 5-6 teams in the class. And when ethical issues come up, you can't close your mind to it because you're there with your colleagues and they're giving you friendly consulting on how they dealt with it. We also call it what do you call it? Competency sharing. It's like sharing your competencies on what you're doing with these situations.
Another question, can you clarify what a community-based organization is, but more to the point, what are the indicators to the extent that you can measure success?
People love to go to work. They're enthusiastic. They speak very positively about their leadership, their management. they're upbeat, their families know how they feel about going to work, and so on and so forth. The company is responsible in its dealings with things. It doesn't avoid the tough issues. It faces them head on, and so on and so forth.
I like that one. You speak yin and yang, but can you explain what is the implication for HR or H being people?
That's fun. It's the Korean flag, and it's, you know, the circle with the, where yin is masculine. Sorry, yin is feminine and dark, poor women, and then is masculine and light. But there's a circle for each, so there's yin and yang and yin. And it's the I'm going to do this very badly, but it's the comparison of the sort of aggressive macho view of the world versus the softer, kind of more adaptable view of the world. In HR, a lot of what HR has to do is yang. A lot of what HR is forced to do is yang. It's about pay systems, and it's a lot of very bureaucratic stuff that gets dumped on the HR people. Somebody's got to do it, so the HR people do it. But as I was describing a few minutes ago, there's these, they're not exactly skunkworks HR people, they're just HR people who are much more sympathetic and sensitive to that developing kind of learning process, treating people decently, and so on and so forth. And they're more the yin side of the HR activity.
Between a manager and a leader, what would you choose?
Neither.
Final answer, or do you like to call a friend?
Should I elaborate? Do you think I need to elaborate? It's what I choose is managers and leaders. This idea that you can separate leadership from management has been very destructive. Very, very destructive.
As if they were two different things.
As if they're two different things. Do you want to be managed by somebody who doesn't lead? Pretty discouraging. You don't want a manager who doesn't lead. Do you want a leader who doesn't manage? Because if a leader doesn't manage, they don't know what's going on. It's management that plugs you into what's happening. It's leadership that's the inspiration and those things. So what you want is both in the same person at every level, not just the chief executive level. Foremen, first line people, nursing managers in hospitals, whoever it is, coaches on athletic teams, whatever it is you want. Imagine I can't talk football. Imagine a hockey. We can talk hockey today because the Canadians won last night. Imagine a hockey coach who didn't exercise leadership. Imagine a hockey coach who didn't exercise management. It's kind of like, I'm going to inspire you guys, but you know, what you do in the practice is up to you, and I'm not going to give you any specific advice because I'm a leader. It's leadership and management together. So I don't want to choose between leaders and management. Very destructive idea, terrible idea.